The foundation of Call of Duty's military identity emerged from World War II, establishing patterns of authentic historical representation that would influence the entire franchise. These organizations represent the core Allied and Axis powers, portrayed with varying degrees of historical accuracy and creative interpretation to serve gameplay and narrative purposes. United States Army. The United States Army, USA, is the land warfare branch of the United States military. It appears as a playable faction in Call of Duty, United Offensive, Call of Duty 2, Big Red 1, Call of Duty 3, Call of Duty WW2, and Call of Duty Vanguard. The Army serves as the primary American ground force across multiple theaters, participating in major operations from D-Day landings to the Battle of the Bulge. On June 6, 1944, United States Army Private First Class Ronald Red Daniels, Brett Zimmerman, of the 1st Infantry Division, assaults Omaha Beach with his platoon as part of the Normandy landings. The Army's representation emphasizes combined arms warfare, squad-based tactics, and the transformation of ordinary civilians into seasoned combat veterans. Units featured include the legendary 1st Infantry Division, known as the Big Red One, and the 29th Infantry Division, which played crucial roles in the Normandy invasion. The franchise portrays Army units engaging in operations across Europe, North Africa, and the Pacific, showcasing the service's global reach and operational flexibility during the war. The Army's equipment and doctrine reflect authentic World War II capabilities, featuring M1 Garand rifles, Thompson submachine guns, and Sherman tanks. The portrayal emphasizes the American approach to warfare, relying on industrial superiority, logistical excellence, and adaptive tactical innovation. Missions showcase urban combat, beach assaults, forest fighting, and combined operations with Allied forces, demonstrating the Army's versatility across diverse operational environments. United States Marine Corps. United States Marine Corps, USMC, appears as a playable POV in Call of Duty 4, Modern Warfare, First Force Recon. In Modern Warfare 2, 2009, the U.S. campaign perspective shifts to the U.S. Army Rangers, while USMC references persist elsewhere in the franchise. The Marines represent America's amphibious assault capability, with their most significant representation occurring in Call of Duty World at War, 2008, during Pacific Theater island hopping campaigns against Japanese forces. The Corps exemplifies the specialized nature of amphibious warfare, featuring distinctive tactics, equipment, and unit cohesion that differentiate them from Army forces. Marine operations emphasize rapid deployment, aggressive assault tactics, and the ability to establish beachheads against heavily fortified positions. The franchise showcases Marine engagements in dense jungle environments, cave networks, and fortified island positions, highlighting the unique challenges of Pacific warfare. Marine units employ specialized equipment including flamethrowers, demolition charges, and amphibious vehicles designed for beach assault operations. The Corps' representation captures the distinct military culture and esprit de corps that defines Marine identity. Missions feature small unit tactics, night operations, and the integration of naval fire support and close air support. The Marines' role in Call of Duty emphasizes their function as America's rapid response force, capable of conducting complex operations in hostile environments with limited support. British Army and Commandos, WWE era. British Army and British Commandos carry the WWE's role in-game, with the SAS becoming prominent in the Modern Warfare era. British forces represent Commonwealth military capability in WTOR's titles, featuring regular Army units and specialized commando formations conducting raids behind enemy lines. The franchise portrays British forces operating in diverse environments, showcasing their adaptability and professional competence. Equipment includes Lee Enfield rifles, Sten guns, and specialized vehicles designed for reconnaissance and rapid movement. Soviet Red Army. The Soviet Armed Forces, Russian Вооруженные силы Советского Союза, also referred to as the Red Army, is a faction that appears in Call of Duty, Finest Hour, Call of Duty 2, Call of Duty World at War. The Red Army represents the massive Soviet war effort on the Eastern Front, characterized by massive scale, brutal combat conditions, and the transformation of the Soviet Union into a military superpower. The franchise portrays Soviet forces engaging in urban warfare, defensive operations, and massive offensive campaigns that reflect the scale and intensity of the Eastern Front. Soviet operations emphasize mass mobilization, artillery-heavy tactics, and the willingness to accept massive casualties to achieve strategic objectives. The Red Army's representation includes diverse units from regular infantry to guards divisions, reflecting the evolution of Soviet military capability throughout the war. Equipment features PPSH submachine guns, Mosin Nagant rifles, and T-34 tanks, representing Soviet industrial capacity and tactical adaptation. The Red Army's portrayal explores themes of sacrifice, patriotism, and the defense of the homeland against existential threats. Missions showcase the siege of Stalingrad, the advance to Berlin, and the liberation of Eastern Europe, emphasizing the enormous cost of Soviet victory. The franchise presents Soviet forces as competent and motivated, avoiding Cold War-era stereotypes while acknowledging the brutal realities of Eastern Front combat. German Wehrmacht and Waffen-SS. The primary German antagonist in Call of Duty's WW2 titles is the Wehrmacht, regular armed forces, depicted distinct from the Waffen-SS, the Nazi Party's combat formation. The games often underline this distinction. The Wehrmacht serves as the primary antagonist force across most World War II titles, representing professional German military capability distinct from Nazi ideology. Glenn Schofield, co-founder and co-studio head at Sledgehammer, said, "We also make a distinction between the SS and the German regular army," clarifying, "The big distinction that Germans still make today is that between the German military and the Nazis." The Wehrmacht's representation emphasizes tactical proficiency, technological innovation, and defensive expertise as German forces transition from offensive operations to increasingly desperate defensive actions. German units demonstrate combined arms tactics, featuring coordination between infantry, armor, and air support that reflects actual German military doctrine. Equipment includes MG-42 machine guns, STG-44 assault rifles, and panzer tanks, representing German technological advancement and industrial capability. The Waffen-SS appears as elite formations with distinctive equipment and fanatical resistance, serving specific narrative functions while maintaining historical context. The franchise carefully distinguishes between professional soldiers and ideological formations, avoiding simplistic portrayals while acknowledging the realities of Nazi military organization. German defensive positions feature sophisticated fortifications, integrated weapon systems, and tactical depth that challenge Allied forces throughout the campaign. Imperial Japanese Army. The Imperial Japanese Army represents the Pacific Theater's primary antagonist in Call of Duty. World at war, characterized by fanatical resistance, defensive expertise, and distinctive tactical approaches that create unique gameplay challenges. Japanese forces employ defensive tactics, including extensive fortification systems, tunnel networks, and coordinated counterattacks that reflect actual Japanese military doctrine in the Pacific War. Japanese operations emphasize defensive warfare, night attacks, and the integration of natural terrain features into comprehensive defensive systems. The franchise portrays Japanese forces as tenacious defenders who utilize every advantage to inflict maximum casualties on advancing Allied forces. Equipment features Arisaka rifles, Type 99 machine guns, and distinctive weapons that reflect Japanese military industrial capacity and tactical preferences. The Japanese Army's representation explores themes of cultural conflict, military fanaticism, and the enormous cost of Pacific warfare. Missions showcase island assaults, jungle warfare, and urban combat that emphasize the unique challenges of fighting an enemy prepared to fight to the death. The franchise presents Japanese forces as skilled and dangerous opponents while acknowledging the broader context of the Pacific War. Classic modern warfare era. The transition to modern warfare marked a fundamental shift in Call of Duty's organizational focus, moving from historical accuracy to fictional contemporary conflicts that explored current geopolitical tensions and military capabilities. This era established many of the franchise's most iconic organizations and narrative themes. Special Air Service, modern era. The British SAS anchors KOD-4MW's counter-terrorism and deep reconnaissance missions, such as ship takedowns and the all-gillied-up lineage, setting the tone for elite small unit operations. The modern SAS represents the evolution of British special operations capability, featuring advanced equipment, global deployment capability, and integration with international special operations forces. In the reboot continuity, the SAS provides experienced personnel and operational foundation when Price forms the new Task Force 141. SAS operations emphasize precision, stealth, and the ability to conduct complex missions with minimal support. The franchise portrays SAS units engaging in hostage rescue, counter-terrorism, and direct action missions that reflect contemporary special operations doctrine. Equipment includes advanced firearms, specialized vehicles, and communication systems that enable global operations across diverse environments. The SAS's role in Call of Duty establishes themes of elite military professionalism, international cooperation, and the importance of special operations in modern warfare. Characters like Captain Price and Soap McTavish represent idealized versions of special operations personnel, combining technical expertise with moral clarity and unwavering determination. Task Force 141. Task Force 141, colloquially referred to as the 141, is a multinational special operations unit which includes SAS, Delta Force, SASR, JTF-2 operatives. Its members serve as the principal protagonists of Call of Duty, Modern Warfare 2, and Call of Duty, Modern Warfare 3. Task Force 141 is a multinational special operations unit composed of members of British, Australian, American, Canadian, and possibly other foreign personnel, usually those with previous special ops experience. The organization represents the pinnacle of international military cooperation, bringing together elite personnel from multiple nations to address global threats. Task Force 141's operations span multiple continents and conflict zones, demonstrating the global reach and operational flexibility required for modern special operations. The organization conducts direct action missions, counterterrorism operations, and strategic reconnaissance that influences broader geopolitical outcomes. Leadership structure includes multinational command elements that reflect the complexity of international military cooperation. The organization's equipment represents cutting-edge military technology, featuring advanced weapons systems, specialized vehicles, and communications equipment that enable coordination across vast distances. Task Force 141's missions require the integration of multiple military specialties, from demolitions and sniper operations to intelligence gathering and tactical coordination. The organization's reputation for effectiveness attracts the most capable personnel from partner nations. Task Force 141's narrative significance extends beyond individual missions to encompass broader themes of international cooperation, the challenges of modern warfare, and the personal cost of military service. The organization faces internal and external threats, including betrayal by commanding officers and political interference that compromises operational effectiveness. These challenges reflect real-world concerns about military accountability and the politicization of special operations. Russian ultranationalists and loyalists. The Russian military appears as both ally and antagonist, reflecting the complex geopolitical realities of post-Cold War international relations. Ultranationalist forces represent extremist elements within Russian society and military, seeking to restore Russian power through aggressive military action and terrorist operations. These forces demonstrate advanced military capability combined with radical political objectives that threaten international stability. Ultranationalist operations include conventional military actions, terrorist attacks, and hybrid warfare techniques that blur the lines between military and civilian targets. The organization employs both regular military units and irregular forces, reflecting the complexity of modern conflicts where state and non-state actors cooperate and compete simultaneously. Equipment includes advanced Russian military hardware combined with improvised weapons and tactics. Russian loyalist forces represent moderate elements within Russian military and political structures who oppose ultranationalist extremism. These forces provide intelligence support, operational assistance, and strategic guidance to international efforts against ultranationalist threats. The Loyalists demonstrate that Russian military capability can serve international stability rather than threaten it. The portrayal of Russian forces explores themes of political extremism, military professionalism, and the challenge of distinguishing between legitimate state actors and extremist organizations. The franchise avoids simplistic Cold War stereotypes while acknowledging genuine concerns about Russian military capability and political intentions. United States Army Rangers. The Rangers represent American conventional special operations capability, featuring rapid deployment, direct action missions, and the ability to conduct large-scale operations with minimal preparation time. The user plays as United States Army Rangers PFC Joseph Allen and Private James Ramirez in the campaign. Ranger operations emphasize speed, aggression, and the integration of advanced technology with traditional infantry tactics. Ranger units conduct urban warfare, defensive operations, and rapid response missions that demonstrate American military capability in contemporary conflicts. The franchise portrays Rangers defending American territory against foreign invasion, participating in international operations, and supporting other special operations forces. Equipment includes advanced infantry weapons, communication systems, and tactical vehicles designed for rapid deployment. The Rangers' representation emphasizes themes of homeland defense, military readiness, and the transformation of conventional forces to meet contemporary threats. Missions showcase both the capabilities and limitations of conventional military forces when confronting irregular threats and hybrid warfare techniques. OPFOR and regional militant organizations. OPFOR and Call of Duty 4. Modern warfare refers to two distinct elements: A specific Middle Eastern revolutionary faction featured in the campaign, and B, a generic opposing force multiplayer designation. The campaign OPFOR represents a particular militant organization with defined political objectives, while the multiplayer usage serves as a catch-all term for opposition forces. This dual usage pattern appears in other Call of Duty titles where specific regional militant groups are featured alongside generic multiplayer faction labels. Insurgent operations emphasize mobility, local knowledge, and the ability to blend military and civilian activities. These forces operate in urban environments, rural areas, and failed states where conventional military advantages are diminished. Equipment includes a mixture of military weapons, improvised devices, and captured equipment that reflects the resourcefulness of irregular forces. The portrayal of insurgent organizations explores themes of asymmetric warfare, cultural conflict, and the challenges of counterinsurgency operations. The franchise acknowledges the complexity of contemporary conflicts where military success requires cultural understanding and political solutions in addition to tactical excellence. Modern Warfare Reboot Era. The Modern Warfare reboot introduced updated organizations that reflect contemporary geopolitical realities while maintaining connection to the franchise's established themes and characters. This era emphasizes multinational cooperation, hybrid warfare, and the integration of state and non-state actors. Task Force 141, reimagined. Task Force 141 is a joint multinational special task force and counterterrorism military unit formed by Captain Price at the end of Call of Duty: Modern Warfare 2019. The reimagined organization maintains core characteristics while updating operational methods and international composition to reflect contemporary special operations practices. Task Force 141 was created as a result, with Price inducting his hand-picked members into the special force. The modern Task Force 141 incorporates lessons learned from decades of special operations evolution, featuring enhanced intelligence capabilities, advanced technology integration, and expanded international partnership networks. Operations span multiple domains including cyber warfare, information operations, and traditional kinetic actions. The organization demonstrates the evolution of special operations from tactical units to strategic instruments of national power. Equipment represents the latest developments in special operations technology, including advanced weapons systems, communications equipment, and vehicles designed for multi-domain operations. The organization's personnel selection process emphasizes not only technical competence, but also cultural awareness and adaptability required for complex international operations. Coalition and allegiance factions. In Modern Warfare 2019, operators are grouped into Coalition, largely Western, and Allegiance, largely Eastern. A joint alliance called Armistice, led by CIA's Kate Laswell and FSB's Komarov, coordinates them against Al-Qatala in post-campaign ops and Warzone. These umbrella organizations provide structure for multiplayer operations while reflecting broader geopolitical alignments. Coalition forces include Western military units, private military contractors, and allied special operations forces. The organization represents NATO-style cooperation combined with private sector capabilities and flexible command structures. Operations emphasize technological superiority, precision engagement, and minimization of civilian casualties. Allegiance forces incorporate Eastern military traditions with modern capabilities, featuring Russian, Middle Eastern, and other non-Western military organizations. The faction demonstrates alternative approaches to military organization and operational doctrine while maintaining comparable technological capabilities. The dynamic between Coalition and Allegiance forces reflects contemporary geopolitical competition. Spec GRU and Cortac. In Modern Warfare 2, 2022, the two MP factions are Spec GRU and Cortac, both private military contractors founded after the campaign as special forces for hire and used across multiplayer and special ops. These organizations represent the evolution of multiplayer faction systems, providing narrative context for competitive operations while maintaining operational flexibility. Spec GRU and Cortac demonstrate the privatization of military capabilities and the emergence of corporate military entities. Spec GRU operations emphasize conventional military excellence combined with corporate efficiency and advanced technology integration. The organization represents the fusion of military tradition with private sector innovation, creating hybrid capabilities that exceed traditional military limitations. Personnel include former military specialists and civilian experts who bring diverse skill sets to operational challenges. CORTAC represents alternative approaches to private military organization, featuring different cultural backgrounds and operational philosophies. The organization demonstrates that military effectiveness can emerge from diverse sources, and that competition between private military entities can drive innovation and operational excellence. Al-Qatala represents contemporary terrorist organizations that combine local grievances with international networks and advanced operational capabilities. The organization demonstrates the evolution of terrorist groups from localized insurgencies to transnational threats capable of challenging state military forces. Al-Qatala's structure reflects real-world terrorist organizations while avoiding specific political affiliations. Al-Qatala operations employ hybrid warfare techniques, combining conventional military tactics with terrorist methods and information warfare. The organization demonstrates adaptability, resourcefulness, and the ability to exploit weaknesses in conventional military responses. Equipment includes captured military hardware, improvised weapons, and commercial technology adapted for military purposes. The organization's portrayal explores themes of radicalization, international terrorism, and the challenges of counterterrorism operations in complex political environments. Al-Qatala represents the type of non-state actor that defines contemporary security challenges. Black Ops Timeline Organizations. The Black Ops series introduces organizations focused on covert operations, intelligence gathering, and deniable actions that operate in the shadows of conventional military conflicts. These organizations reflect the reality of Cold War and post-Cold War intelligence operations. Central Intelligence Agency. The CIA serves as the central organizing force for Black Ops operations, providing intelligence support, operational guidance, and deniable action capabilities. Black Ops 6 is set circa the Gulf War, 1990-1992, and follows Rogue Black Ops clashing with Crimson One while rooting out the Pantheon network. The agency's representation emphasizes the complexity of intelligence operations and the moral ambiguity inherent in covert activities. CIA operations span multiple decades and geographic regions, reflecting the global reach of American intelligence capabilities. The agency conducts human intelligence gathering, technical operations, and paramilitary actions that influence international events while maintaining plausible deniability. Personnel include career intelligence officers, military detailees, and contract operatives who bring diverse skills to operational challenges. The CIA's portrayal explores themes of loyalty, betrayal, and the personal cost of intelligence work. Agents face moral dilemmas, institutional pressure, and personal danger while serving national interests that may conflict with individual conscience. The agency's relationship with other government organizations reflects the complexity of American national security apparatus. Studies and Observations Group, SOG. SOG represents the peak of Cold War special operations capability, conducting highly classified missions in Southeast Asia and other contested regions. The organization demonstrates the integration of intelligence gathering with direct action capabilities, creating hybrid units capable of operating independently in hostile environments. SOG operations emphasize stealth, deception, and the ability to gather intelligence while conducting combat missions. Personnel include elite military specialists and intelligence operatives who combine tactical excellence with sophisticated tradecraft. Equipment includes specialized weapons, communications gear, and vehicles designed for covert operations. The organization's missions reflect the intensity and complexity of Cold War conflicts, where conventional warfare restrictions require innovative operational approaches. SOG demonstrates how Special Operations Forces can achieve strategic objectives through tactical actions while maintaining operational security. Rogue Black Ops and Crimson One. Black Ops 6 splits operators between Rogue Black Ops and Crimson One. At launch, Activision listed 11 Rogue and 10 Crimson operators, with the season narrative centered on flushing out the Pantheon network. Rogue Black Ops, as their name implies, are an outlawed group being hunted by their former employers. On the run and hunted by their former employers, the Rogue Black Ops team seek to uncover the truth of the infiltration of the CIA and expose the conspiracy for what it is. Rogue Black Ops represents intelligence operatives who have lost institutional support but maintain operational capabilities and moral purpose. Without the financial or technological backing of the US, Woods and his squad find themselves having to strike uneasy alliances with the criminal underground. as well as with old enemies, to equip themselves. The organization demonstrates how elite personnel can maintain effectiveness despite resource constraints and official opposition. Crimson One is a group directly tasked with hunting down and eliminating rogue black ops. Working under the CIA, they have access to all the intel and tools they might need to bring the outlaws down. Crimson One represents institutional authority and the challenge of distinguishing between legitimate security concerns and corrupt institutional protection. The dynamic between these organizations explores themes of institutional loyalty versus moral obligation. Perseus Network. Perseus represents Soviet intelligence capabilities and the global reach of KGB operations during the Cold War. The organization demonstrates sophisticated intelligence techniques, international coordination, and the ability to influence events through covert means rather than direct military action. Perseus operations emphasize deception, infiltration, and the manipulation of existing conflicts to achieve strategic objectives. The network includes deep cover agents, sympathetic organizations, and unwitting assets who advance Soviet interests while maintaining operational security. The organization's structure reflects actual Soviet intelligence practices while avoiding specific historical attribution. The Perseus Network's portrayal explores themes of ideological conflict, international espionage, and the challenge of identifying and countering sophisticated intelligence operations. The organization represents the type of threat that defines intelligence conflicts where military force alone cannot achieve decisive results. Futuristic and alternative timeline organizations. The franchise's exploration of future conflicts and alternative histories creates opportunities to examine how military organizations might evolve in response to technological advancement and changing geopolitical conditions. Atlas Corporation. Atlas Corporation, led by Jonathan Irons, initially allies with the U.S. Marine Corps in the Second Korean War before turning antagonist in advanced warfare. The organization demonstrates how private military companies might evolve to provide comprehensive security services while pursuing independent political objectives. Atlas operations emphasize technological superiority, global reach, and the integration of military capabilities with corporate efficiency. The organization possesses advanced weapons systems, private military forces, and technological capabilities that exceed those of many nation-states. Atlas represents the potential for corporate entities to challenge traditional state monopolies on military force. The organization's evolution from security provider to global threat explores themes of corporate power, technological advancement, and the accountability of private military forces. Atlas demonstrates how military capability divorced from democratic oversight can become a threat to international stability. Settlement Defense Front. The Settlement Defense Front represents colonial military forces that have developed independent capabilities and political objectives. The organization demonstrates how geographic separation and resource constraints can create military forces with distinctive characteristics and strategic goals. SDF operations emphasize resource efficiency, technological innovation, and the adaptation of military doctrine to unique environmental conditions. The organization represents the potential for human expansion into space to create new political entities with independent military capabilities. The SDF's conflict with Earth-based forces explores themes of colonial independence, resource competition, and the challenge of maintaining political unity across vast distances. The organization represents the type of military force that might emerge from human expansion beyond Earth. Ghosts. The Ghosts represent American Special Operations Forces operating under extreme adversity and resource constraints. The organization demonstrates how elite military units can maintain operational effectiveness despite the collapse of supporting infrastructure and institutional authority. Ghosts operations emphasize improvisation, local knowledge, and the ability to conduct effective operations with minimal external support. The organization represents the adaptation of special operations doctrine to post-apocalyptic conditions where conventional military advantages have been neutralized. The organization's survival and effectiveness explore themes of military resilience, adaptability, and the preservation of professional military culture under extreme conditions. The Ghosts represent the potential for elite military units to serve as the foundation for national recovery and reconstruction.